about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on in Thornton Township.
When can we address you?
It's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it comes with a seat. That's what people not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this to say, I want security.
Tiffany Henyard's empire is crumbling, and now even the people closest to her are turning against her. The feds played it smart. If they couldn't get to Tiffany directly, they'd make sure everyone around her started talking. And guess what? It's working. Because tell me why Tiffany Henyard's baby daddy is now allegedly in custody, and he's already singing like a bird. This whole investigation has proven that birds of a feather really do flock together. And Tiffany's flock? Nasty as hell. Almost everyone in her circle has a case with the feds for fraud and theft. And the wildest part? Apparently, Tiffany's baby daddy didn't even need much convincing before he threw her under the bus. Now, somebody's gonna have to look after their kid because, at this rate, Tiffany might be getting a long time out, if you know what I mean. But how does her baby daddy fit into all this? And why is he being targeted? Let's break it down. See, the reason Tiffany Henyard was able to get away with this mess for so long? She surrounded herself with people just as shady as her, creating an army of fall guys to take the heat if things ever went south. But when the FBI came knocking, she pulled a disappearing act, thinking she could lay low until things cooled off. She thought she had everything set, people to take the blame, no direct ties to the crimes. But she underestimated one thing. Loyalty doesn't last when prison time is on the line. One by one, the people Tiffany counted on to cover for her are flipping. And now, she's got nowhere left to hide. Even her own man didn't hesitate before snitching on her. That man took one good look at the cell he'd be sitting in for the next few years and decided it was every man for himself. For those who don't know, Tiffany's boyfriend is Kamal Woods. And trust me, he's got his own skeletons in the closet. Kamal isn't just Tiffany's man. He's deep in her business, too. He was named in her divorce papers as her boyfriend, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. First, Tiffany put Kamal in charge of her so-called Cancer Foundation, a foundation that was allegedly funded with taxpayer money. Yeah, the CARES Foundation, the one Tiffany claimed was meant to help breast cancer patients. Apparently, it was nothing more than a PR stunt to make herself look good. The very first day the foundation was launched, it received a massive donation of $110,000 straight from the people of Dolton. The only problem? The people of Dolton never approved that donation. Tiffany just decided to take the money and put it into her personal project. And she didn't stop there. She even used township funds to finance a trip outside Dolton to promote her foundation. When I tell y'all everything in that parade, from the trucks and bicycles to the DJ, photographer, drones, meals, and hotel rooms, was allegedly paid for by taxpayer money. I mean everything. But that wasn't enough for Tiffany. No, she had to go even further. Not only did she give Kamal a paycheck from the foundation, but she also got him a cushy side gig at Thornton Township, where he was making over $100,000 a year. Money that most people in Dolton haven't seen in years. But then the feds stepped in. Tiffany was hit with a subpoena demanding every single record from all her businesses. And guess who was named in that subpoena? Kamal Woods. According to reports, Tiffany was served 2 subpoenas. The first one focused on her private businesses, including her restaurant and property management company. And, let's just say, neither of them is exactly legit. Tiffany has been cutting corners in her business for years, not caring about the damage it has caused to her clients. Back in 2019, one of her tenants lost their home because the building was falling apart. covered in mold and leaking everywhere. And now, with the FBI digging through her records, it looks like the walls are finally closing in. The empire Tiffany built on fraud, theft, and corruption, it's collapsing. And this time, there's no one left to take the fall for her. What do you think? Is this the end for Tiffany Henyard? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about it. And don't forget to subscribe, because this drama is only getting crazier. Stay tuned.
Corner where the roof, the ceiling is damaged, and then it leaks going into my kitchen, and the window sill leaks in my daughter's room.
Except they weren't. Enter activist David Lowry, who called Dalton directly. Suddenly, the house deemed livable on September 3rd became unfit for occupancy on October 15th. Lowry's theory?
The trustee used her power and
The FBI needed to get to the bottom of what was really happening with these businesses. They also demanded access to all records from her political fund and charity foundation. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because as this investigation deepens, more and more people are stepping forward to expose Tiffany. She should have seen this coming long ago, as trouble within her administration has been brewing since day one. Just 6 months into her role as supervisor of Thornton Township, Tiffany was already facing backlash from the very team she campaigned with, her so-called Dream Team. This group included candidates for trustee and village clerk positions. Among her selections, Kiana Beeler and Jason House were elected as trustees, while Allison Key secured the position of village clerk. However, that Dream Team quickly turned into a nightmare for Tiffany when they began calling her out for shady dealings. She had assumed they would simply be her puppets, allowing her to run the township however she pleased. But they weren't having it. Just 6 months into her tenure, they publicly criticized her for financial mismanagement and running an administration lacking transparency. By 2022, they had reached their breaking point. With no signs of accountability from Tiffany, the trustees joined forces with the village board to sue her, citing major conflicts of interest. But rather than taking responsibility, Tiffany pushed back, accusing them of stirring up drama and attempting to derail her supposed efforts to improve Dalton.
That is my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big bingo and the staff. I don't see the staff on here. I think that's a very important bill to pay. So do y'all want to amend that and add the staff bills? Because I don't see them in none of these bills lists. And then we don't never do agenda like this. So all this fluff you selling to the public is...
He started shutting them out of their own offices, but that didn't shake the trustees. They were determined to remove Tiffany, one way or another. So, they began holding meetings without her. Now, you might be thinking, weren't the trustees overreacting? After all, wasn't Tiffany at least doing her job? Well, according to some residents, the town of Dalton had a long list of issues, from crumbling roads to neglected homes, even problems within the police force. But instead of fixing these things, Tiffany was spending taxpayer money on unnecessary luxuries like massive billboards, extravagant first-class flights, stays at elite hotels like the Four Seasons, celebrity DJs, high-end photographers, and a full-on personal security squad. And that's just the beginning. Before Tiffany took office, Dalton was a town built on community, bringing people together for the greater good. But now, it's all about Tiffany. Any event that doesn't revolve around her or elevate her public image gets the axe. For example, there was a long-standing annual event organized by a local community member. This year, it was supposed to take place as usual, until Tiffany refused to approve the permit for the public park where it was to be held. Her excuse? She didn't want it to interfere with her own event, just a few miles away. And she didn't stop there. She went so far as to have massive concrete barriers placed at the park's entrance to keep people out. For years, Darren Bosley has hosted an annual car show in the parking lot of Needles Park in Dalton. But after paying a $1,000 fee for this year's permit, he received a shocking call from Tiffany's top assistant. The message? His event was canceled. But, conveniently, if he moved it to her preferred location on Greenwood, everything would be fine. When asked if he saw this as a threat, Bosley didn't hesitate. He absolutely did. And sure enough, when he arrived at the park on the day of the event, he found massive concrete barricades blocking the entrance. Dalton police even warned attendees that their cars would be towed if they parked nearby. It was like dealing with two completely different governments. Shutting down a community event just to make room for your own is outrageous. But believe it or not, that's only a fraction of what Tiffany has done. So, it's no surprise that members of her inner circle started turning against her. One trustee, Carmen Carlisle, recently exposed Tiffany's actions in a bold statement. She accused Tiffany of using her power to manipulate employees, vendors, and residents while creating a false image of success, all funded by the hard-working taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. According to Carlisle, Tiffany refuses to take accountability for her actions, showing no regard for the employees or citizens she's supposed to serve. But Tiffany isn't going down without a fight. She insists that everything she did was in the best interest of Dalton, and if anyone should be held responsible, it's her right-hand man, Keith Freeman. And let's not forget, Keith is already facing separate fraud charges in an ongoing FBI investigation. Tiffany's criminal defense attorney, Bo Brinley, is doubling down on this claim, arguing that Tiffany is simply under attack. He insists that Freeman was the one making financial decisions, booking the flights, choosing the hotels, and managing the funds. According to him, Tiffany was a new mayor relying on an experienced aide who assured her this was standard practice. She only realized the truth when it was too late. As wild as all of this sounds, Tiffany still has her supporters. Some residents believe she's made politics more engaging and isn't as bad as people claim. Her social media presence is explosive. Every post she makes gains massive attention, almost like she's a celebrity now. But that hasn't stopped the backlash. One person online said, "If she doesn't end up in prison after doing all this so openly, there's no justice left in Illinois." Another wrote, "The fact that this investigation is still ongoing is a slap in the face to the people. She should already be behind bars." But now, I want to hear from you. Are you Team Tiffany, or do you think it's time for her to take a long-term adult timeout? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out this other messy situation by clicking right here.